Hello and welcome everyone. Today is a continuation of my last video where we're still working with the fresh air impression dies, but today we're going to be foiling them. This is a much requested video, so make sure you subscribe and like, and we'll get started. So I'm using the Gemini foil press with my fresh air impression dies. I will be using this gold foil. I'll actually be using 3 different colors of gold foil, but this is the one I'm going to start with. I have my instruction sheet because I don't use this very often. I am using the big Gemini, so I do use an extender plate on my foil press, and just pulling out the foil so that I can cut this big medallion. I'm starting with the big end today, and I'm moving the foil press out of the way so I can cut the foil. I will be using my craft knife to cut my foil, and I find that this is a great tool to cut foil with, and you don't need any fancy tools. If you have a craft knife, this is nice. And so that's what we'll be doing with how I'll be cutting all of my foil on today. And I just cut it down to the size of the die, and then I'm going to grab some paper. I'm going to be using a purple paper, and I believe it's not Anna Griffin. It's just plain paper, you know, any plain paper will be fine. A lot of people do recommend that you should use, you know, very smooth cardstock and things like that. So maybe nothing with a lot of texture. And this isn't fancy or smooth or anything. It's just some random cardstock that I had. And it's going to work just fine. But I'm sure that a smooth cardstock would work really, really, really well. So right now I'm just looking for my tape so that I can make a hinge for my die, because what I like to do is take the paper and the die and any piece of tape that's probably it doesn't even matter if it's super sticky or nothing, because these dies cut out, and I like to tape them to the cardstock, and that way I heat up the die and the paper together. And I learned this tip from Anna Griffin, and she does a lot of foiling, and she always does this hinge method, and I really like it. So I set my timer to 20 seconds, and you probably couldn't see that because the foil press wasn't in the frame all the way, but I have it on low temperature on 20 seconds, and now the timer has went off, I'm going to pull off the top and take my piece of foil, and this goes with the pretty side facing the die. So the dull side always goes towards the paper, and the pretty side faces the die, and you just can run it through like this. But I realized that I cut my foil way too long, and if you have a lot of foil hanging off, it can foil your plate, which doesn't really matter at all, but I decided to take it off and cut it and get the excess foil off for right now, and then run it through that way, just because it was just going to be better. And I should have did that before, because I know better, but oh well, I didn't. So we did it right now, and now I'm going to remove this from the base and run it through the Gemini. Like I said, I have a big Gemini, but you can always use your regular size Gemini, because that's what it was made for. Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but the foil press machine has been discontinued. So if you can find it anywhere, if you were thinking about buying it or you wanted one, get it now. They're on sale. I saw them for $79 on the Crafter's Companion website. They're probably all gone by now because that was a smoking hot deal. But yeah, they're not going to be making it anymore. So the only foiling machine that'll be on the market is the Spellbinder's Glimmer machine. And so I have this one. I wonder if I'm gonna get one of the spellbinders, and so I have the one that's actually in market. Okay, so this die didn't foil, probably because I took it off of the heat for so long. But what I'm gonna do is try to, since I did the hinge method, I'm just gonna put it back on. And I don't even think that maybe it's because I did the hinge method, because I took it off of the hinge anyway. But I'm gonna realign the die back onto the plate and with the same foil and everything. And then I'm going to put it back on there, and I'm going to try to refoil it. So nothing's happening in the screen right now because that's what I was doing, and that's what I am doing. I thought this die does not just, even though it's a circle, it's not the same on all the sides. So you can't just stick the die right back on any part of the circle. It really does have to be aligned in a certain spot. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back on. I'm gonna restart the timer almost like from scratch, and then put it back through. So yeah, I'm thinking about getting the Spellbinders machine, even though I have this one. Honestly, I have all the foiling machines. I have the Go Press and Foil. I have this one. I have the Mink machine. So the only one I don't have right now is the Spellbinders. So maybe I'll go get it. I also decided to try adding a shim on the top of the paper, or the top of the plate, because it didn't cut all the way through. As you could see, it was just a tiny spot, but it didn't cut all the way through. So I decided to add a shim, and you'll see that I changed my shim out to a different shim. Ooh, sorry for shaking the camera, guys. And I'm gonna replace that shim with a different shim later on. But you can see that it did cut the die out completely this time. And now for the big reveal of what this looks like. You can see that this foil is super duper shiny, and this is what it looks like. So it did foil properly the second time. So, you know, don't take your die off and then do stuff and then think it's just gonna stay hot. Maybe it won't. But foiling these dies is so much fun. A lot of people like send me comments. Anna Griffin said, don't foil these dies. Well, Anna Griffin has said multiple times to foil the dies. So I don't know. I did this one. I didn't know the camera was not on. I did this one also. They came out great. Sorry, I wasn't filming. But I'm going to do some more, so we're not going to miss a beat, guys. Yeah, but so she said foil them. So at first she didn't know, but I think she went and checked and found out that you can. So, you know, when you first don't know, you just don't tell people to do it, right? So that one, I'm changing out the foil for a different, it's a matte foil this time. So not so shiny and more of a matte texture. And like I said, with her saying don't foil. If you don't feel comfortable foiling, don't foil. Just don't do it. So this metal shim that I just showed you guys came with the machine, and it was actually intended for cut and foil dies that were made by Gemini, or by Crafter's Companion, sorry. And so I'm actually going to use that shim instead, and what I'm showing you is the matte foil and what side I'm going to be foiling on. So I'm just waiting for my timer to go off, which it has now. And so if you have everything prepared, that's a great idea. Have it all ready. Then you can just unhinge your paper and then send it on through. So, you know, you don't have to do the hinge method. It's just an option, because what Yana was saying was that if you do mess up like I did the first time, you can always go back and redo it. You don't have to start all over. And that is the beauty of the hinge method. So I say definitely do it, try it. But yeah, but also like I was saying, if you don't feel comfortable foiling your impression dies, that's fine, don't do it. I'm running this one through a second time just because I actually tried to make this video a couple of weeks ago, and this particular foil did not foil well. So I'm running this one through a second time because I was having a hard time making a good impression with this foil, particularly this matte foil. Okay, so here's the big reveal. Once I can get my fat fingers over this foil. Okay, so it looks like it did a good job. I can see a little bit of non-foiling. I mean, it foiled, but it was like a little bit of a light part on that bow right there. And so can you see everything? But it foiled pretty good. So I think running it through the second time was a good option. But I'm going to tell you, this matte foil in particular has given me a problem. Now, all of this foil is from Crafter's Companion, and it is all the paper crafting foil. So when you're using Crafter's Companion foil in your foil press, you use it on a low temperature. So this thing has temperature settings, as you can clearly see. But when I'm moving it down to 15 because this is a smaller die. So the time is based on how big or how small your die is. And since this one's a teeny tiny one, we're going with 15 seconds. But like I was saying, if you're using other manufacturers' foils, like the Spellbinders foils, you would then want to use the medium temperature setting and not the low temperature setting, okay? Or if you're using the Crafter's Companion foil that's not the paper crafting foil, so they have two different kind of foils. I don't even remember what the other one's called, but if you're using that foil, you would also set it on a medium temperature setting instead of low. But if you're using Crafter's Companion foil, then use it on the low setting because it doesn't need the high heat. Okay, so tell me, you guys, do you have a foil press? Do you have the Spellbinders? Do you have the Go Press and Foil? Do you plan on foiling your hot foil dies? This one's gorgeous. I love it. And if you are, then super excited for you to try this. And if you're not, tell me why. Is it because of what Anna said? Or are you afraid that it's not gonna cut and do the stamping properly? All right, now I'm switching to another foil. So this is just a regular shiny foil. So we've done a holographic foil, a matte foil, and now we're doing a shiny foil. We've done a purple paper, we've done a blue paper, and I think on this one we're moving on to a green paper. And it's just to show you that, you know, I'm just using regular paper. I'm not using any special paper. I'm not even using Anna Griffin paper. It's not smooth paper. It's just regular cardstock that has colors on it. And so it's working just fine. I like this. I like foiling my impression dies. And I've used them as impression dies afterwards, and they worked fine for me. So here we go on the next one. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Like I said, it was highly requested, and I have made this video before, but I made it with the Christmas impression die. So I think since it's a Christmas video, a lot of people have probably missed it or decided that wasn't what they were looking for, or maybe they just cannot watch Christmas when it's not Christmas. So because of that, I decided to do it again, and I said I would do it when I got my Fresh Air impression dies, which is the last auto ship for these impression dies. Sad, but hopefully she comes out with some more because I'm going to get them all. And so for this one, we're just doing the same technique. I like that I'm now using the plate on the bottom, the metal plate on the bottom that they gave me for this instead of trying the paper shims, because it's now cutting perfectly, which is great. And I'm just now having to run it through the one time. Except for, like I said, that matte foil, I'm not so sure about it. I do have some other foils. I have the Couture Creations foils also. I have not tried them on here, but I mean, maybe I should and give you guys an update of how those work. And see, this one foiled perfectly, except for I got some overfoiling in the center of that. So I'm going to see if I can use my mono sand eraser, which is this one by Tombow, and it's kind of like a sandpaper eraser, and I'm going to see if I can erase that out of the center. Alright, so that's what a lot of people recommend. Now the problem with this particular piece of paper is that it is, what did they call it? Solid core? Non-solid core? I don't know, it's white on the inside. So erasing off the color is erasing it to a white core. So that's not good. So now we have come to the end of our video where I show you all of the things that we foiled up close and personal so that you can really see them, because sometimes I find that in foiling videos the lighting and things like that, where you can't really tell what's going on, you can't see. So I'm really gonna try to put these where you can really see them. You can see where it foiled, where it didn't foil, so that you can know exactly what you'll be getting yourself into if you decide to take on this project. I'm putting them all down. They look great. They all foiled perfectly. And normally I would make a card at the end of my video, but I think I'm gonna try to make a card later, you guys. Maybe or maybe not, I'm not sure. But that is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with a crafty friend. Bye.